on the previous screen where you have the code, right? Yeah, here. Let me say if my row count is more than 50. So what you are saying is if it is greater than 4, we have to set that row count is equal to 2, right?
So yeah, so see, if row count is greater than 0, I'm good, right? Now, what I can also say is, okay, what I do is, if, okay, and I say row count, row count greater than, say, if it is greater than 4.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, then, okay, I'm going to say set counter, how much I'm going to set, right? I'm going to set this as 4.
Okay.
And do end if, okay, and instead of row count, I'm going to use this.
So you're restricting to the number what you want to display. Okay.
Okay, so you have to be very careful. Like somebody might have only 3, and you're setting it to 4 here. So then it might, might have some exceptions, because it will try to print the 4, but you don't have the 4. So that's why this validation is there. If it is greater than 4, then you're looping it through till 4.
Right.
One question, Ceci. So using the for loop, so does it gonna give the rows that we give the filter criteria only, because filter criteria gives the rows that are there like 10 for say. The filter criteria is having only 4 or 10 rows. So using the for loop, it only gives the 10 rows that are printed, right?
Yeah. So you're using LookUpRows.
Yes.
Now from this, you're returning a data set.
Yes.
Right. It might be 1, 2, 4, 10, 100, 1,000. So the maximum number of output that you get from LookUpRows, okay, for efficiency, if you see the documentation,
2,000, I guess, the maximum.
By default, it is 2,000. So just a minute. So this one, see, is 2,000. So even for the lookup, it will be basically 2,000. Maximum, it will be 2,000.
Okay.
Here in the documentation, they haven't mentioned here for the lookup rows. This is lookup, sorry. Where is the lookup rows? This lookup rows. It will be 2,000. But here they haven't mentioned here. So I didn't mention here, but you have mentioned here. Maximum rows, 2,000. You are getting, let's say, 2,000 rows.
Yes. So my question is, Ceci, see, in the lookup rows, we have defined the data extension as products and gender, proper case gender, and the season. So these two are the filters, gender and the season. So using the for loop, so we're gonna print satisfying to these filter rows only. That's what I'm saying. If there are 10 rows are satisfying these filters, so the for loop gonna print only that particular 10 rows only, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So filtering will be considered from lookup rows function, not from for loop. So the number of rows which are filtered, those will come into that loop.
See, what is the parameter here? See, parameter is rows, right? And here in the for loop, where is the for loop? Here, right? Here in the for loop, initially I was using a row count. This was my parameter till when I want to loop this for loop is. This is the second parameter.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to print all the 2,000 rows if it's outputting you 2,000 rows, right? In the email, it will be very clumsy and long. Nobody will like it. So I just want to print 4 rows.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
I'm saying if the row is greater than 4, right? Then set the counter to 4. Now I'm assigning a counter. I'm assigning the second parameter for the for loop. So here, instead of rows, I'm going to print 4. I'm looping this for loop that loop 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
So and then you can have one uh, what do you say, CTA, okay, call to action button or anchor tag, okay, to view more products. And here
Yes.
you can add a CTA, okay, anchor tag, and here use the href, okay,
Mhm.
and then you can, you can use the cloud page. Now if I have to go on details, it will be big long, right? So I don't want to
Got it.
do that.
Got you, Shashi. So, as per my understanding, if in the table there are only two rows that are defining the filters that we set in the lookup row function, then the for loop is going to print only those two rows data.
Yes.
Yeah, you're asking the same question and it has been answered. Okay,
Yeah,
what you do,
yeah,
again, because you have dropped in between, it's Bablu, right?
No,
yeah.
it's Deepak.
Okay, so uh, go back to the session. It will, the recording is there, right? Then you'll understand even much better. But I have answered this more than three
Sure,
times.
sure, yes.
I have a quick question. So, let's say if I want to print records that is more than 2000 number, so I guess we can use this lookup order row function, or is it also maximum is 2000 only?
We haven't gone to that. We'll be discussing the next point is the lookup order rows. So hold on with your thoughts. I'm explaining that as well.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
So now I'm going to answer your question. So here, same data extension, okay, same details, values, and here you have this ordinal, okay, this ordinal data extension name, okay. Your second one is the how many rows by default you want to set, the second parameter. You want to return one row, 2000 maximum default to 2000 rows, you have to define that, okay. The third one is whether you want to get the lookup rows in ascending or descending order for that particular field, okay? And then the where clause. So here it is, I'll bring this code on the top, okay. So this one was lookup rows, this was lookup, this lookup rows. Okay, so all the things that assignment is same, only the function is changing. So lookup order rows here, okay. So first parameter is the data extension name, second one is how much row I want to return, okay. So I'm saying return me maximum of 4 rows, okay. And the other part is the, this is the which value you want to return, okay, on ascending and descending. So by it will be default will be ascending, okay. If you have to, even if you write ASC, the output will be the same. So this second, after space, the column for which you have to order, okay, sort it based on this product name. I want to sort based on the product name, okay. So I had for gender main, you see here, I think I have only 2 rows here, okay, white hoodie and black hoodie. So ascending order, if I use ASC, okay, it is going to print me first black and then white, B, right, and then W.
Yeah.
So if I use DSC, if I have to use DSC, it will first use white and then black. So this is the from ordinal, okay, and the same the we used in the lookup rows, the same function can be used here to print the values, okay. So let me copy it from the top. Now here, right, the same. Hello Sasi Prasad, we are launching, then product details, number of rows returned. Now Your question was if I have to make it 2000, right? In the email, it's not good. Hmm. But in the if you are using the same function in cloud pages, it looks good. With even in cloud page, it not look good for to returning 2000, but you need to have pagination also enabled. Hmm. So they can click on the first page, second page, third page, and every page you can return 10 products or 20 products. Hmm. So maximum by default is 2000, right?
So
Now
it can go
question,
more than 2000 also.
slow down. I'm going. Okay. Now, initially, before this, we were also discussing this one. Set, let's say, count. Hmm. And we were saying data extension. What was the full function? I don't want to miss that.
Row count
Okay. So data extension row count.
of name.
And I say products. Okay. Now I want to, if everything that in my product is for gender for men, just for example, okay, which is a very rare case, then what I can try, okay, instead of 2000, just implement this. Okay, give a try. So it will return all the products. Okay, maximum. If it is lakh also, it is try, it will return lakh. Hmm. So you can call this as a hack. I don't subscribe to this, but is if in some cloud pages, if you have to return more than 2000, this is one way. But uh, you know, in more sophisticated manner is to use SSJS, okay, with WS proxy, where you define more row function there, then it is going to give you more rows. Okay, that will be discussed in the SSJS program, not here. But this is a simple fact to optimize lookup order rows to get more than 2000 records. Okay, you can consider this as another hack.
Got it. One another question. So let's say I have mentioned there instead of at count, I have mentioned a number. Like let's say I have mentioned 10, and in my table there are only 5 records which are filtering out as per the criteria. So is it going to error out if I have mentioned more numbers than the records which are going to be pulled using that function?
So 5. What you're saying 5?
Yeah. So yeah, let's say there is 5, but there are only 2 rows, which is
No. See, this is the by default how many numbers, maximum numbers you want to return. Right?
okay.
What this ordinal says here. The ordinal says the number of return, right? Value less than 1 returns the default 2000 rows. If you write 1, the default will become 2000. 1. The value less than 1 returns default of 2000. So the maximum is 2000, right? Now you're defining 5. The maximum should be 5.
Yeah, if you mention that as a 0 or less than 1, then it will go to the default value, which is 2000, Sumit. If you are
Lakshmi,
considering, yeah,
yeah, I think you're learning very profoundly. I'm happy.
yeah, I thought. No, actually, Sumit, did you understand what Shashi was trying to say?
I'm still confused.
No,
So
let me tell you, like, if you are defining a number which is greater than 1 or equal to 1, right? Then it will be restricted to that number. Like you are specifying that function to display only those maximum number of rows.
got it. So
If you are saying less than 1, which is 0, right? It will take the maximum limit which it can display, which is the default value by AMPscript, which is 2000.
okay, I got it. So let's say instead of 0, I mentioned 5 there,
Then
and
it will display only 5.
okay, and we have a criteria which is gender, and it will look for a gender. Let's say we have gender here man, and there are only 2 records which are fulfilling that criteria in the data extension. So the maximum is 5, but there's only 2. So it will not error out because there is a difference between 5 and 2. The number is 3, right?
You are telling the system that maximum you can display 5, but not any error if it is less than 2. If the system has no records which are fulfilling that filter, it won't display, right?
Step back.
I will.